Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Halloween Horror Month. Well, we are continuing Scary Movie franchise with Scary Movie 3 or Scary Movie 3.5. It's the unrated version. You just call it 3.5. I don't think there was much different from the other version, but so after Scary Movie 2, if you don't know, Scary Movie 2 was rushed into production. Yeah, very hectic filming, and afterwards, or very hectic production, I should say. And afterwards, Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans family were done. They're like, no, we're not doing anymore. We're done. So, with the Wayans family out, Dimension and those damned Weinsteins turned to David Zucker, who brought us Airplane back in 1990. And he gave us this along with, a couple of the writers, Aaron Seltzer, the Seltzerberg, basically. Aaron Freeberg and Brian Seltzer. Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer, I think it was. Anyway, I'm thinking of Brian Setzer Orchestra. You can tell that the Wayans didn't. During the credits, it says based on characters from Shawn Wayans, Marlon Wayans, and Keenan Ivory Wayans. I think this is when the franchise takes a dip in quality. I mean, I had some issues with the second one, rewatching that. Overall, though, I did enjoy it. This one, while I enjoyed it somewhat, it definitely nerfed. Even though this is the unrated version, there's not much difference. It's clear that those dastardly Weinsteins wanted to make money off of this thing. The first two were rated R, but they said, hey, why not try to go to the lower, try to pander to the PG-13, the teenage demographic, and put it as a PG-13 film, which, I have to say it worked because my cousins wanted to watch this movie. My sister liked to watch it. I used to have this one, the original version. I don't know what's different. The base story is The Ring mixed with Signs. That's what it is. And a little bit of 8 Mile, maybe The Matrix. But for the most part, they kind of went back to the first film where it's two stories mixed together with a couple of things put on the side. So, yeah. So, Cindy is back, once again portrayed by Anna Faris, but she's now blonde because you see the lead in The Ring was blonde. I don't know if that's the reason, I just always assumed that. Anna Faris stayed blonde after this, so either she planned on doing it or she liked it being blonde so much after this. She just went with it. I don't know. She's not even, I don't think she's even the same character. But they acknowledge that other stuff has happened. Brenda comes back and happens to be, so per the story of The Ring, Cindy is now Rachel from The Ring. And in this version, she is Cody's aunt, who is the son of Cindy's previously unknown or mentioned sister. If you're saying, wait a minute, there's a continuity error, well, you could say she's her older sister that already graduated high school and was in college during the events of the first film. And then Cindy was in college in the second film, so we never met her. And then she died after the second film. So, technically, it's not a continuity error. It's just, we just never saw her. She was off screen. It's like, I don't know. There's other characters that are off screen that I can't think of anything on top of my head right now. Anyway, so yeah, she's taking care of Cody because her sister died. Childbirth, we found out later. On the other side of things, you have Tom Logan, who is played by Charlie Sheen and is the Mel Gibson character from Signs, and his brother George, who is the Joaquin, I'm Not Really the Joker Phoenix character from Signs. In this film, there's only one child there. It's a girl. Because you have Cody, you see, so there's the boy and that's the girl. And props to the actor who plays Cody. He's channeling his inner David Dorfman here. Because he brings the creepy kid vibe. They go really full out on the psychic stuff. It's more like makes me think of Stephen King novel. Like, he's pointing out things at a funeral and everything. But, yeah. George is also not only the Joaquin, I'm Not Really the Joker Phoenix character from Signs, but he's also Eminem from 8 Mile. And that introduces us to our Ray and Shorty replacements, Mahalik and CJ, who are basically Malik and BJ from 8 Mile, which is a movie I kind of want to talk about. I like that movie. But I grew up an Eminem fan, man. White boy from the Midwest, just like Eminem, only I can't rap. No, really, I suck. I can rhyme, but it's not rapping, it's just rhyming. I rhyme all the time. Listen to the bells chime. Little bit of lemon lime. I don't commit a crime. Nickelodeon has slime. See? Anyway. So yeah. And so we start off with, much like with the first film, this is a recreation of another iconic horror opening scene with The Ring. But instead of two teenage girls, it's Jenny McCarthy and Pamela Anderson, who were in their 30s at the time, but they're acting like teenage girls. This scene did not age well for me. It just doesn't work. It's like, oh. I was sitting there going, I used to like this? What is this? Once you get past this, it's a little bit better, but I'm just sitting there going, this is not even funny. And what is they ruin what was one of the best things about The Ring, was that when Becca comes up and goes into the room, she doesn't see what Katie looks like. But in this, we gotta have the jokes, right? So, not only do we see what Katie looks like here, the running joke is that she doesn't know she's dead. She's like, are you okay? Her head falls off. Are you okay? It's basically the stuff from The Ring. I do like when the mom calls and it's like, I'm coming for you, my precious. Oh, hi, Mom. Hello, precious. It's like, I did laugh at that, but like, I don't know. We go to our the real part of the movie, and like I said, if you want to try to connect the first two to this, that's fine. But Cindy is somehow a news reporter, or works for a news station, where Jeremy Piven is there as the lead reporter. What? Lead anchorman. What did... I didn't even admit that. And I guess they have a quota to parody a commercial, because the first one, it was the, what was it? I had it in my head when I was looking at it. It was a weather beer commercial, right? And the second one, it was a basketball commercial. And here, it's that other beer commercial. I like that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and twins. That song, that commercial. That, I was like, oh, I remember this. Yeah. You have a cameo from Tim Stack here and later in the film as well. That son of a beach. Let me tell you. This news company is all about the risque things. If it doesn't have sex or tits in the story, then Even later, Jeremy Piven is reporting on a tornado, and he has to bring up that the tornado hit a naked couple because that's what they report on. So, I don't know. But, yeah. So she goes to pick up Cody, and that's when we see that Brenda is Cody's teacher. But she doesn't know that. She's like, Cindy. She's like, Brenda, I didn't know you. I'm like, wait. It's been a long time. I'm like, wait a minute. How long has Cody been going to this school? Like, she didn't just adopt Cody because, wait a minute. How old is Cody? Hold on. This is 2003. The Cindy's story at the end of the movie makes no fucking sense. I just thought of that. This is 2003. It's 2 years after the second one. There's no way she could have taken Cody at birth. There's no way. Because for that to work, she would have already been in high school. She would still be in high school when that happened. Because Cody's like, 8 or 9 years old here? You go 8 or 9 years old, that's the mid-90s. That doesn't make any sense. So it have to be it was her older sister who died and gave Cody to her about a year after the events of the second film. I'm putting my own canon here. That had to have happened. I don't care what she says later in the film. Bullshit. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Cody can't be more than 8 or 9 years old here, so it makes no fucking sense. Okay? It makes no sense. Here's my personal headcanon for this. Cindy had an older sister we never met because she was in college during the first movie. Cindy was in college in the second film. A year after the event of the second film, Cindy's sister dies and gives her custody of her child. What happened to her dad? He's probably in jail for selling the drugs. I don't know. And that's where it leads to our story. Putting that in the canon, that's what happened. Because it makes no sense what she says later. Then we go to... we got to go back a little bit because we go to the farm. And we do a parody of the scene where Mel Gibson wakes up. But of course we got to be funny. So Charlie Sheen hits his head a couple times on a lamp that just be hanging above his... Why would you hang a little lamp thing light above your bed? You're going to wake up and hit it every time. Man. Then they do a joke that they took from Austin Powers where he's trying to take a piss. And the daughter keeps screaming, but every time he stops peeing, she stops screaming. And then they go out and they see that there's a crop circle and it says aliens attack here or something like that. And that's where we get the story. So actually that is where we start. And then we get the connection to Cindy because, and the connection here is that George's niece, Tom's daughter, also goes to the same school as Cody. By the way, she's living in Washington, D.C. now. Instead of whatever urban setting the first two were in. But I suppose you could say they were in Washington, but I wouldn't believe it, So, because George is basically now Eminem from 8 Mile, we gotta do that. So George goes to have his rap out. Unlike Eminem, he doesn't choke on mom's spaghetti. He's not nervous. So that actually blows Fat Joe away. Yes, it's really Fat Joe. But can you tell there were white riders this time? Because he puts up his hood. He's wearing a white hoodie, which is actually supposed to be gray, but it's white. And it has a pointy hood. Do you know that there's white riders in this movie? Did you know? I do like Brenda's response though. He's a dead man, and he won over the crowd with his rap, and then he does that. It's like, he's like, man, the hood. Put down the hood. Yeah, I'm in the hood now. I'm in the hood. I'm like, oh no, he's a dead man. She says. So after this happens, she and Brenda just go back to Brenda's house, right? Cindy and Brenda go back to Brenda's house. And Brenda confides that she watched videotape. And they do the thing where, she fakes being sick, like she's going to die or something. But they take it too far because they think that prolonged comedy is funny, but it's not. So instead of pretending that she's going to die, she's like, no, Cindy, I'm fine. And she starts to have a seizure and out of her. No, I'm just joking. Her hand gets on fire. And that's another joke. So when it actually happens, she has like a fight with the thing, which is Tabitha in this version instead of Samara. And she dies. And then we have this scene that will forever infamously live in my brain that I can just not get rid of now. Brenda'S Funeral. So, not only do I have an issue continuity-wise with this. So, I know the Wayans were not involved with this movie in any way whatsoever. But, this is Brenda'S funeral. Brenda's parents are there, but Shorty is not there. Shorty, who is her brother, Oh, by the way, who is this guy that is the dad? Because Brenda says in the first film, they don't know who their dad is. So who's this guy? Stepdad? Maybe? No, because Cindy calls them Mr. and Mrs. Meeks. Somebody didn't watch the first movie. White writers. Just saying. I know that this is a spoof movie, but in a film series, I have to try to keep some form of continuity. And so, I gotta try to keep that in mind, that they fucked up, because, no, Shorty is not there, and I can kind of believe that Shorty wouldn't be there, because Shorty's a pothead. He's probably lost somewhere. He's probably somewhere growing something. I don't know. Probably doesn't even know how to get there anymore. I don't know. But Ray was her love interest, her man. For how long? Even if they broke up, even if it wasn't tumultuous, I think he would still go to her funeral. But no, because the Wayans aren't involved, we get desecration of a corpse. Better term. Desecration of a corpse. So George shows up because he's there because she was Sue's teacher. Oh, I do like when he goes to inform Sue. He gets a phone call. He tells Tom, he's like, Sue's teacher, Brenda, she's dead. I'll tell her. He's like, Sue, you know your teacher, Miss Brenda? Yeah. She's dead! And she screams, she's dead, she's never coming back! I'm sorry, I laughed at that. Also, there's running gags with Cody getting hit by everything constantly. I don't know, that child needs to... Child engagement, I don't know. There's also a joke that I don't think would work. But when Cindy has to go on a date with George to the rap battle, she calls in Father Muldoon, played by Daryl Hammond, and they basically do a Catholic priest little boy joke. Keep in mind, they also do a Michael Jackson joke later, where they kind of copy the movie Don't Say a Word, the whole "you're not my daughter" type thing they do from that trailer that came out. And it's Michael Jackson under the thing. He's like, what did you do with my daughter? I didn't do anything. After all, she's a girl. Because, you see, Michael Jackson goes after little boys. Allegedly. Never proven. Allegedly. I like the man's music, but allegedly. I don't like it allegedly. I actually like his music, but yeah, maybe that Catholic joke, even Michael Jackson joke is a little done at this point. Back then, it was fresh stuff to talk about, but now, 20 years later, shit. That just hit me. I'm old. I could turn it to the iPhone. I'm old. Give me a second. Just give me a minute. Okay. So Cindy tries to warn people about the videotape. No one believes her. And eventually she taps into the thing so that Jimmy Pevin can read it on air, which leads to a joke where the African American janitor makes a joke about having sex with the anchor guy's wife. Now that the world's known, we have to talk to the president. And the president of the United States is Leslie Nielsen, who will show up in this. And the fourth one is the same characters. There's another character continuity. You could say that the first two are in its own world, and then 3 and 4 are in its own world, and then 5, of course, is in its own world. But I don't know. But yes, and he's got D.L. Hughley and Ja Rule for bodyguards. Hey, do you think that if someone got killed in the White House, or someone got killed, and one of the bodyguards found it, Ja Rule's bodyguard found it, and the president goes, "What happened?" And he would say, "It's murder!" Right? Moving on. So yeah, and the Little Ducky book is the next one, but he thinks. So the aliens eventually come, and it turns out that the aliens. Okay, I gotta talk about this. So they do the thing from Signs, where they hide in the cellar, and for some reason the aliens can't go through wood, can't open doors. Wood is their weakness, even though water is their weakness. I don't know. And they're gonna call that out. Wait, they can travel. Excuse me. They can travel throughout the galaxy. They mastered light speed travel, but they can't open doors, which is a criticism from Signs, to be honest. But in this version, the aliens are using a shovel to look up Cindy's skirt. I forgot to mention, they do a Matrix parody. First of all, there's a couple Matrix parody. The architect from the Matrix is played by George Carlin here, and he is Tabitha's adopted father, and he tells the story of how the wife knocked her out, threw her into a well, that sort of thing. And then CJ says that sends Cindy to his Aunt Shaniqua, who is the Oracle, played by Queen Latifah. And of course, they take the fact that Oracle was a chain smoker, and they run with that joke. And then Morpheus is there. No, it's Orpheus, and it's Eddie Murphy. He wants to watch the basketball game, but the Lakers are going to win by 12, so he's not watching because she can see the future. Are we already doing that joke with Cody? Why are we doing it here? I don't know. Anyway, Cody left whoever the hell was watching him at the time, and went to George's place. Because he thinks George is going to protect him. I don't know. And of course, George is in that. He's Meryl, but he's also Rabbit. So he's in Rabbit's story arc of he can't do anything. In fact, despite the fact that he actually won the rap battle, but got his ass kicked because of the hood. I don't know. But yeah. They do the swing away thing. So they do a thing earlier where they have someone pretending to be M. Night Shyamalan's character from Signs, where they recap what happened. And it is Denise Richards, who was Charlie Sheen's wife at the time, playing the dead wife here. Yeah. But they are in the cellar, and they're like, okay, women and children will stay here. The guys will go out and deal with this. And I love George's comment of, okay, so what's the cutoff for children? Come on. They go out, and this has always bugged me. I know it's a comedy film, but they have the shovel, and Malik goes, shh. He cocks the shovel. How do you cock? It's not a shotgun. How do you... I don't get it. But it turns out the aliens are not there to kill anyone, despite the fact that the crop circle said attack here, although there could be a point to that. We'll get to that. The aliens are actually there because they saw the videotape. Now, there's a running joke that the architect accidentally leaked the videotape out because, speaking of leaking videotapes, I'll talk about it in a minute, because he thought he was returning his copy of Pootie Tang, which is a very timely reference for the year, but it was not. And so the aliens run with that joke here, like, we thought it was Pootie Tang. By the way, speaking of videotapes, at the beginning, during the thing with Jenny McCarthy and Pamela Anderson, Pamela goes, have you heard of this videotape? And Jenny McCarthy goes, oh, the one where they do it on the boat, and then they do it in the pool, and they do it in a hotel. And he's like, yeah, I love you, baby. And she's like, no, not that tape. You know what that's referencing, right? Because that's another timely reference. The fact that Pamela Anderson is there. Anyway, so back to the climax. They say hello by choking people and say goodbye by kicking you in the nuts. And they peel out their fingers, which Charlie Sheen had one of their fingers in his mouth. I don't know why. And the president does it, which is weird. They're there to stop the little girl. You know, the evil little girl, Tabitha, from killing people. And they do the thing where, they find out that the family farm, the architect said that his wife drowned the girl, is just happens to be the Logan's farm. So that attack here, like the aliens somehow knew, and the well is underneath the cellar. And I don't think this is actually a defeat here, because the little girl comes out, and whatever. And her and George, Cindy and George, they say, we could be your family. It's like, your love has changed me. Really? He's just, nah, I'm just messing with you. And George knocks her back into the well, and they put the cover on it, and they're like, well, she's gone now. And I'm like, how does that stop her? Spoiler, they don't pick up on this in the next one because they're spoofing other things. In Continuity of the Ring, that wouldn't stop her. She came from the well. Why would throwing her back in the well stop her? It's, the aliens. I do like this scene because George just gets aware of what he just did. Because like I said, when you say goodbye to someone, aliens kick you in the nuts until they say goodbye. So they're like, oh, we're going to leave then. By the way, Tom Kenny does the voice of one of the aliens. He's like, we are going to leave then. And she's like, well, goodbye then. And he realizes what he just done, and he's kicked in the nuts. But, yeah, and instead of the wrap-up being that, because they do run that running thing from the signs where, I haven't been a clergyman since what happened. And unlike Mel Gibson's character in that movie, he doesn't go back to it. We actually end with Cindy and George getting married. And they redo a running joke from the beginning of the movie where after Cindy picked up Cody from school, she left without him. And then she goes to back up and she hits him. But here, they take off without him. They're going to back up and they stop. And another car hits him. And in an extended ending, it's revealed it was Michael Jackson that hit him. And then do the thing where the thing comes through. You know that it goes to black screen, but he goes like that. It cuts off his nose. I don't know if it needed from Michael Jackson, but I always thought, I was like, is this supposed to be Michael Jackson? It is, but they got that. Oh, there's also a rap battle where you got like Master P and Macy Gray and stuff. I don't know if that's really needed. That shows up. I'm gonna give this some middle of the road. It's not as good as the first two, and I feel like the quality of these are going to go down. I don't know. But it's not terrible, but I don't know. Something about it just, I don't know, it's just a kind of thing. You know what I mean? So maybe some of the jokes were more of that time, and so now they kind of come back off as like the Priest joke and the Michael Jackson joke, and just, I don't know, but it's fine. And at the wedding, Brenda's corpse is there. CJ and Mahalik. And spoiler alert, Brenda comes back in the next one. Fully alive, not a corpse. I don't even remember how they explained that one, but we'll get to it. So what are your thoughts on Scary Movie 3? Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.